Hi, I'm Gary White for Central Kentucky Television, and I have the opportunity today to be part of Community Focus on Washington County because I'm here with the host, Lisa Haydon. Usually Lisa's the one doing all the questioning here, but now she gets to be grilled, right?
Yeah.
And that's because she had a special honor that we've been talking with lots of the different Chamber of Commerce award winners over these past few months. You had Aaron Robinson in recently as well, and some of the other ones. But you actually got an award at the Chamber banquet in January for Citizen of the Year.
Right.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Were you surprised?
I really was. I really was.
So how'd they get you there?
Well, I always go to the Chamber banquet.
Okay.
And you know, it's a really nice event, and the Chamber does such an excellent job putting that on. And they always honor people here in the community that have contributed to Washington County. They don't have to be Chamber members, and but just people who have given to the community in one way or another. So I always try to support that, and my husband is a former recipient, Lifetime Achievement Award, and so you know, I'm always and as a business and professional woman with the Business and Professional Women's Club, we are members of the Chamber.
Right.
And then having been on City Council, I also participate with the Chamber that way. So, and I try to stay involved with that. And I was delighted. I mean, well, I got there that night as I normally would, and I sat with some of my family. And
So were all your kids there?
well, no, they live in Lexington, and they weren't there. And of course, I told them I was going to the banquet that night, and I was going to sit with my sister-in-law and some of my niece and different ones, and nothing out of the ordinary because I always attend. And so when I got there that night, and there was another niece at another table, my niece Fran Carrico, who always attends. She's the property valuation administrator here in Washington County, and she's always a good supporter of the Chamber. And so nothing out of the ordinary. And
Who gave you the award?
Fran.
Okay, Fran was one that gave
Yeah.
the award.
And so when she got up to announce the
Citizen of the Year.
Citizen of the Year, I didn't think a thing about it. But then when she mentioned social worker, I knew there are not a whole lot of social workers around, and I was one of 3 social workers in Washington County for many years. But I looked around because I thought, well, golly, who's here tonight that's a social worker? And I was thinking of some of my former co-workers, and I'm retired now, and so I was looking around to see, where's some of my co-workers must be here. And but
And then saw a mirror. I'm like, it's me.
well, then after that, I don't know, she mentioned a couple other things. And then I saw my mother-in-law and father-in-law, C.H. and Francis, come in the door in the back, and they don't normally attend. And so I said to Marianne Hale, my sister-in-law, I said, Marianne, are you getting an award? And I thought, well, Marianne's not a social worker, but she does a lot of volunteer work. And so, needless to say, it wasn't very long that, like Aaron said, when they start naming this and that, you finally put it together, two and two, So I was very surprised and very appreciative of the award. I've tried to, and I got up and spoke and gave a little speech, and then I saw my children standing back there, and someone asked me later if I had planned that speech. I said, I just think it came. I think I was so honored, and it just came kind of right from the heart, you know. It was just one of those moments where stuff comes out of your mouth, you don't even know what you're saying.
Yep. So your kids did show up.
Yes, they
so
were
that
there.
was a big surprise.
I was really happy about that, yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, so they listed all of your accomplishments, so that took a long time. Because there's a lot that you've been involved with.
I have.
And have done,
Yeah.
you know. So one of the things I know that we work a lot with you on is the Springfield BPW.
Right.
And you've been working with that for years, right?
Right, right. Well, I've been a member, I couldn't tell you how many years. And when I first came to Springfield from Bardstown, and after Mike and I married, Sue Anna Sims, who was a social worker here in Washington County, and she would come and get me for the BPW meeting every month for 2 or 3 months until I finally joined.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, my husband is from Washington County. Was from Washington County, and this is where, you know, we raise our children. And we lived on West High Street when the kids were growing up, and right by St. Dominic's School and Church, and that's where we were members. And so I was active with the school and with the church. I served in many capacities there, PTA president and youth leader. I think that was something they mentioned about me, because I've always, you know, being a social worker, you know, my heart has always been with the kids, and and making sure that we keep our children here safe and engaged and involved and active in the community. And so I was youth group leader, and I helped with 4-H. I was teen leader one year, and I could just go on and on.
I was going to say,
but with the BPW, I'm very proud of the fact that I helped initiate the wine tasting and chaired it for the first 10 years of its existence. And it has grown and grown, and I'm very proud of that, because I think it's a great event for our community. We have a lot of people that come here from other towns, and just think it's the best wine tasting event ever.
Yes, it's a big success.
Yeah.
I love the location where it is now too, and I know we're going to talk more about that during one of your interviews.
Right,
too.
right. We're going to
While it's not
interview
going on.
Jenny Shotsky, who is the chair of the event now, and who is our current president. And I serve as vice president of the club currently. I was president 2 terms, and I've been, you know, held many officer positions there.
Well, you also, so you were a social worker and you worked with Communicare, correct?
Well, I first started with the Cabinet for Families and Children
Okay.
in Springfield in Washington County. And, well, when I moved here. And so I worked with the Cabinet 24 years.
Wow.
And then I retired and went to work for Communicare in Lebanon, was where my office was. But I served families in Washington, Marion, and Nelson counties.
So you had a lot of impact on a lot of students, because you were in the schools all the time and helping lots of the students who went through the school system here for over 20 years, you were saying, right?
Right, right.
So
If I wasn't, well, I worked with them in various capacities, and as a juvenile worker, doing juvenile services, and foster care, adoptions. I did it all. Child protective services, and so I worked with the kids in a lot of different capacities in that way. And then when I went to work for Communicare in the, it's funny you say the Impact, but it was called the Impact Program. And it was working with children with emotional and behavioral disabilities, and to help maintain them at home and or in the community. Oh, wow. And so they didn't have to be placed, you know, outside of their home somewhere. and that was very rewarding. I did that for 11 years, and then I retired again.
So, but also, you were involved with the city here in Springfield. I know your husband was mayor as well, and you were on the city council for a long time, and you really had a big impact on lots of events there as well.
Well, I only served on the council, because my husband had been mayor and also had served on the council, and we've always been active in the community in that way, and served on boards and commissions, and so I decided, I told him, I said, now, I've helped you in your campaigns and everybody else's campaign in the county. I've worked on many on the state level and city and national level on campaigns, and I said, I'm going to do my own campaign.
That's right.
So I served on city council 2 terms, and then of course I ran for mayor and did not win my election.
It was very tight.
Very tight. I was second and 24 votes, and that I lost by, I think. And but nevertheless, it was a good learning experience, and it was fun. And one thing about campaigning is that you get the opportunity to get around and see people, and you're always learning things, about your community and about people, and then of course you invited me to come and do this focus on Washington County, and Gary, that has been really fun because you get to there's so many things you think your county, and I wasn't born here, and I grew up in Bardstown, but all the time, I learn, as I'm sure you do as well. You learn new things every day about people and their connections and what they do and who they're related to, and it's really astounding how many. We just have so many important people in Washington County.
Exactly. And you know them all. And that's one of the reasons why we had to have you on here. Like when we were putting this show together, I was talking to people, and people thought that you'd be a fantastic host because you're very easy to talk to and very informed. But also all these different people, and you bring on all these wonderful guests too. So we really appreciate you working with us on the program, and you've done a great job.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
fun.
Yes.
But yes, I mean, some of the times you brought on some different people that you bring out lots of interesting stories, and I like the personality profiles and all the different stuff you're doing.
Yeah.
So, and we have a lot more interesting people coming, right?
Oh, yes, indeed, lots of people. And, well, I was talking with Aaron, I was thinking about Johnny Warren from Washington County, who's in charge of the Stephen Foster story in Bardstown. And so, I thought, well, golly, he's a Washington County boy. We got to get him over here.
That's right. And then another relative you're hoping to have on in the near future as well, who's doing some impressive stuff.
Yes, my brother-in-law, Hugh Haydon, who was on 60 Minutes, and for the work that his company is doing with the Ebola vaccine. And so that's going to be pretty neat having him on here. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you won the Citizen of the Year award in January with the Washington County Chamber of Commerce. So what's next? What are your plans for this year, besides hosting this show, indefinitely, I hope? What else are you, I know you have your BPW coming up, but I know you're involved in lots of different stuff.
Well, the wine tasting is coming up, as we mentioned, and Jenny's going to talk more about that when she comes on. And then, of course, I chair of the Democratic Executive Committee here, and
you recently got onto a board too in Frankfort.
Yes, I was appointed. Governor Beshear appointed me to the lottery board, and everybody's always asking me, about giving them the numbers so they can win. I said, I can't even play now myself. They informed me that, the board members cannot play. Now I can play in another state, but I cannot play here.
Right. Okay.
So
But like Powerball, because since we have that here, can you do that?
I could, if I go over to Indiana and
buy
purchase
one?
a ticket.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you can still do that.
So, and that's pretty interesting because, and you know, being on the lottery board, I had to get Senate confirmation, and so I had to go and give a little testimony at a hearing, a Senate hearing on boards and commissions. And then I was informed just before my last board meeting, which I hadn't given any thought to, but that the Senate has to confirm me by vote, and they didn't get to that chore until the very last night of the Senate, just before they adjourned. And if they had not have actually voted me in, then I would not be able to serve.
Oh, really?
Wouldn't get an opportunity again for a couple of years. So, so when I got to my board meeting a couple of weeks ago, they told me that I had actually been confirmed, and I hadn't even given it any thought. And so it was a unanimous vote for me.
Good.
So I was very proud of that.
Yes. Well, you're, like we said, you're very well connected. You're involved in politics yourself, but we also, your husband was chief of staff for Governor Beshear
Right.
At the time when he passed away. And so you had a connection to Governor Beshear that way, but also with your husband to many of those senators as well.
Right, right. Well, yeah, of course, through his work, I had the opportunity to meet a lot of people, and so that has been most interesting and enjoyable. And then, of course, our county was redistricted at the last census, and now we have new, you know, we did have Senator Haydon that represents Marion County, and now we have
Senator Buford.
Senator Buford, Tom Buford, and Representative Kim King.
Right.
So, and I really did not know them very well, but I'm getting to know them some, and I guess it some opportunity we'll have to have them on the show, Gary.
That's right. That's right. But you were saying, so there's an election coming up this year. So since you're chair of the Democratic committee, you're going to be involved with that, I assume, for the governor's election. And
Right. We have the primary coming up and some races there, and then, you know, and then in November the general election. So we're always, seems like we're always campaigning.
That's right.
I should be a pro at that now. But there's always new things, you know, to learn, and but I'm proud of those things, and I'm proud that I had been involved, you know, with a lot of the youth activities in the community growing up, and because our youth are our future, and that was one of the things that when I was campaigning for mayor, that, you know, we have to really focus on. And you know, my work as a social worker, I know the problems that we've had in our community, particularly with drug addiction. And I will have to mention that because not only did I see that through my social work, but also being on city council, you know, it affects our economic development as well. And so I had, you know, lots of good ideas I wanted to get implemented were I to become mayor. But, you know, I do think our city is, you know, going forward with a lot of those initiatives. And, you know, we have the, as when Daniel Carney was on the show, who's the economic development director, you know, he mentioned that very thing. You know, we've got businesses here who need employees.
Right.
We need professional career people, such as engineers, but we also need employees that can pass a drug test.
Right.
And so it's just something, you know, when people say they can't get jobs, I say, well, we've got businesses right here who need employees, but they can't get them because of the applicants not being able to pass a test, a drug test.
Yeah.
So there are lots of issues that, you know, I try to stay up on and involved in, and I think, you know, we mentioned a while ago our wellness on Washington County and things with the schools. You know, I sat on the site-based council at the high school, and that was very informative. And I want to continue being involved in those things, you know, because we've got to keep Springfield and Washington County moving. We've got to, and one thing I'm involved in too right now is the Haydon Transportation Museum.
Right.
And I sit on that committee, and I hope we're going to be able to proceed with that and get some things done. And, you know, so that is still in the works. You know, we're having to get an appraisal on the land, and we've met with some people from Frankfurt on that to see, you know, what the specifics are in what we, and so, you know, that museum aspect is still in the works, and just trying to define what exactly that's going to be and how we're going to proceed with that. So I'm involved with that, and I don't know, I'm planning a wedding too, Gary.
That's right. Your daughter's getting married and moving.
Yes.
So a lot going on.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to be helping her move to the D.C. area in the next couple of weeks, and that's Kate, and she is marrying a fella from up there, from Virginia, and they both are working in D.C. So I said I'm gonna have to get up there and see what's going on.
That's right. You take on Washington, D.C.
I
politics.
think I might check on Jerry Abramson while I'm up there and see what he's up to.
That's right. We're going to get you into the politics up there too, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
there you go. So that's going to be fun, yeah.
Well, congratulations on your Citizen of the Year with the Washington County Chamber of Commerce. Lisa Haydon, the host of Community Focus on Washington County. We're glad that you're here with us, and we hope you'll stay hosting for quite some time. Had to squeeze that into your schedule.
Right.
And seeing all this stuff that's going on. But congratulations.
Well, thanks, Gary. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, this has been Gary White with Lisa Haydon. Thank you.